Hours of operation and legal hours of alcohol sales and service. Alcohol may be sold, served, or consumed on a licensed premises only from 7 a.m. until 2:30 a.m.
However, there is one exception. For many licensed premises located in an Oregon Public Use Airport designated as a Category 1, a commercial service airport, alcohol may be sold, dispensed, served, and consumed or removed from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. to a ticketed airline passenger with a valid same-day boarding pass.
There are special times when some licensees may close their entire premises to cater to a private party. Licensees must first talk with their local OLCC office before closing for a private party. If you're entitled to a shift drink, you must drink it after 7 a.m. and before 2:30 a.m., but not while you are on duty, on a break, or about to go on duty. Alcohol in a licensed premises. Only the kind of alcohol the license is allowed to sell may be sold or served on the licensed premises. For example, an establishment with a license to sell only beer and wine may not allow customers to bring hard liquor into the premises. On the other hand, a licensee may allow a patron to bring in a bottle of alcohol if the license is allowed to sell that type of alcohol. For example, a restaurant could allow a guest to bring in any wine containing up to 21% alcohol by volume. It doesn't matter whether the patron purchased the wine in Oregon or if that particular label has ever been sold in Oregon. A licensee or permittee must be involved in the service of the alcohol brought in by a customer, and a service fee may be charged, a corking charge. The service would be met if the permittee opened the bottle of wine and poured the first glass. The law does not prohibit patrons from pouring additional glasses of wine or beer, but the server must pour all hard liquor.
And any remaining beer or distilled spirits may not be removed from the business. It has to remain at the business.
Licensees and permittees who permit patrons to bring alcohol into the premises are still responsible for violations such as consumption by a minor or serving a visibly intoxicated person. Licensees may refuse to allow patrons to bring alcohol into their place of business, and in fact, many licensees have a house policy against it. Corking wine. Businesses with a full on-premise sales and limited on-premise sales licenses may allow a customer to carry out a partially consumed bottle of wine, but never bottles of beer or hard liquor. The wine must be served in conjunction with a meal. These businesses may allow a customer to take home an unfinished bottle of wine as long as the patron is not a minor and is not exhibiting signs of visible intoxication. Although it is not a legal requirement, before the patron leaves, you could, as a professional duty, tell the customer it is illegal in Oregon to have an open container of alcohol in the occupant section of a vehicle. That would be the open container law. A partially consumed bottle of wine, even though if it's resealed, is still an open container of alcohol. Ask the guest to put the wine in the vehicle's trunk, or if you have no trunk, to place the bottle the farthest part out of reach of the driver or any other passengers. Put the bottle in the bag and staple the bag closed. I would also staple a copy of the receipt to the bag, and I would also record this in my logbook. No drinking while working. Servers are held to the standard of not being under the influence of intoxicants rather than the standard of not being visibly intoxicated. There's a good reason servers are held to the standard. People can be under the influence of intoxicants long before they show visible signs. Judgment is the first ability to be impaired after drinking alcohol. Therefore, a server under the influence of intoxicants might not notice that a customer is visibly intoxicated or may not properly check identification, which could result in serving alcohol to a minor. An impaired server might make an error of judgment that could endanger the customer, the licensee, and others. Exercising good judgment is a critically important part of a server's job. The safest approach is to not drink any alcohol at all before going on duty. If a server does choose to drink shortly before they're going on duty, he or she must not go on duty while under the influence of intoxicants. The definition of on duty is this: from the time of the beginning of a work shift that involves the sale or service of alcoholic beverages, checking identification, or controlling the conduct on the premises to the end of the shift, including coffee and meal breaks. In essence, no drinking while working. This includes tasting, such as the straw shot. Now here's the way you handle an educational wine, beer, and spirits tasting. In order for you to have an alcohol beverage tasting conducted for staff, here are the rules for it. It has to be conducted during legal selling hours, between 7 and 2:30 a.m. The employee cannot go on shift after the tasting. If a manufacturer is conducting the tasting, then they must provide the product to be tasted and remove any product at the end of the tastings.